All right, let's just jump right into it. We are, right now, standing at the beginning of a truly massive shift. I'm talking about a fundamental change in how we think, how we create, and how we collaborate. This is a complete shakeup for knowledge work, and it has a name: the context revolution.
You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this paradox of modern work. We have access to literally everything, but finding that one right thing, that crucial piece of information, man, it's become almost impossibly hard. And that's the core problem we're all dealing with every single day. So what exactly is this context revolution? Well, think of it like this. It's the third major wave of productivity transformation. It's the one that's going to move us past the big challenges that the first two waves left behind and into a totally new era of, well, of understanding.
Okay, so let's break this down. Wave 1, that was all about automation. You know, think about the Industrial Revolution, and then computing. We figured out how to automate physical stuff and then computational tasks, and that created enormous value, right? Then came Wave 2, information access. The internet, Google, cloud storage, the whole shebang. Suddenly information was everywhere, for everyone. But that led directly to the problem we were just talking about: information overload. And that overload is exactly what sets the stage for wave number 3.
And that brings us to Wave 3, Contextual Intelligence. Now this is the real game changer. This is the crucial part. It's not just about getting more information anymore. We're past that. It's about having systems that can understand what all that information actually means. Why does it matter right here, right now? And based on that, what should you do next? It's that huge leap from just having data to actually having insight. So let's be super clear about something. This is not the AI is coming for our jobs story. Not at all. It's about augmenting our own minds. Think of it like a partnership. The future of work is you, with an intelligent system as your co-pilot. The system handles the massive, monumental task of sifting through everything and understanding the context, which then frees us up to do what we humans do best.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take an example. Let's start with a product manager. You know, their whole job is basically deciding what a company should build next.
Right now, today, that PM is spending dozens of hours digging through customer surveys, staring at analytics, trying to figure out what competitors are doing. It's a slog. But in the future, they'll just ask their system, hey, what should we prioritize? And boom, they get an instant synthesized answer that's already taken all of that data into account.
And this example just perfectly illustrates the shift. The product manager goes from being an information gatherer, doing all that tedious research, to being a decision maker. They're focused entirely on their human judgment, making that final strategic call. You see, their expertise isn't replaced, it's amplified, massively.
And look, this pattern isn't just for product managers in tech, not by a long shot. Let's look at how this applies in a completely different, high-stakes field. Picture a doctor trying to diagnose a patient. Today, a doctor has to rely on their years of training, sure, but also on whatever recent medical journals they've had time to read. It's impossible to keep up with everything. But in the future, imagine their expertise being amplified by a system that has already processed all medical literature, every similar case in history, and the patient's complete individual medical context. It's a superpower.
Okay, let's do one more. Let's jump over to the legal world. Think about a lawyer who's getting ready for a huge case.
So instead of spending weeks, maybe even months, manually digging through dusty old books of legal precedent, they partner up with an intelligence system, a system that has already analyzed every relevant case, can predict the other side's arguments, and can even suggest different strategies. See? The pattern is exactly the same. It's human expertise amplified by perfect context.
Okay, now this is what's so wild. This future we're talking about, it's not science fiction. It's not 20 years away. It's possible right now. And that's because all these incredible technologies, things like advanced language models, graph databases, vector search, they've all finally converged. 10 years ago? Impossible. 5 years ago? You couldn't afford it. But today, it's here, it's practical, and it's ready to scale.
So the big question, right? What happens to our jobs? Well, they transform. Tasks like just finding information, basic retrieval, their value is going to go way down. But those uniquely human skills, things like judgment, creativity, empathy, ethical reasoning, their value is going to go through the roof. They become more important than ever before. Because the AI can give you all the context in the world, but it can't make that final human call.
And this, I think, gets to the real heart of it all. Let's be honest, knowledge workers, we didn't get into our fields to become human search engines, right? Or
context archaeologists. We chose our careers to solve cool problems, to create something new, to actually have an impact. But what do we end up doing? Spending our days hunting for that one document or trying to piece together a conversation from 6 months ago. That's not meaningful work. It's overhead that we pretend is work.
So what this is really about is reclaiming our time, and maybe more importantly, reclaiming our intellect. Imagine when finding the context is just automatic. We can finally shift all that brain power away from the administrative junk and focus it on the stuff that actually requires our unique human intelligence. You know, the creative, the strategic, the empathetic work that made us passionate about our jobs in the first place.
So at the end of the day, the really big promise here isn't just about a massive jump in productivity, though that will happen. The real promise is about restoring meaning to meaningful work. It's about reclaiming a sense of fulfillment and dignity so we can feel deeply engaged in what we do, instead of just completely exhausted by the administration of it.
This really is the new paradigm. It's simple. Humans focus on what only humans can do: creating, deciding, connecting with other people, leading. And all of that is supported by an AI that provides the perfect context every single time.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought. Just take a second and imagine your own workday. But all the grunt work of finding information, of piecing things together, is just handled. It's done for you. What could you really achieve? What huge problems could you solve if you could spend 100% of your time on the work that requires your unique human intelligence? Because that is the future the context revolution makes possible.